Hey guys, how we doing? Come on in, come on in. We are live, all the way live, all the way live. Come on in to our Faith, Favor, and Finance show every Tuesday around 1 p.m. between 1 and 1:30. We have our Faith, Favor, and Finance show. And today we're going to be talking about our 8 subconscious money blocks that keep you from getting to your first 2K or more. So come on in here. As you come on in, I'm going to tag some people, let them know that I'm on. If you are joining me on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so you know every time we have a new video. So again, every Tuesday we have a live show, Faith, Favor, and Finance show. So now you can hop on over to our group where we're going to be talking about 8 subconscious money blocks that keeps us from getting our first 2K or more. As you come in, tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. I want to make sure that I can find you. I want to make sure that you can hear me. I'm just checking to make sure that my sound is good. So I dive in and start giving y'all the juices. It's your girl, Sherri Somers, your revenue master life coach. And I want to really hop in here and we're going to go over some of the money. Oh, there you go. So we're good to go. We're good to go. Yes. And as you come in, tell us who you are. Tell us what you do so we can celebrate with you. Okay, good. I just had to make sure that my volume and everything. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? How are you, gorgeous? How you doing? So I wanted to talk about the subconscious money blocks that keep us from moving forward to our where we're trying to go in life. I really want to hop on there and talk about that just for a second. I want to dissect that and what that looks like. So I'm reading the Proverbs and Profit Good. Shout out to the Felicia Kelly for an amazing book. And one of the things that she talk about in that book, y'all ready? I'm diving right in. One thing she talks about is one of the things that keep people for a reason or you aren't seeing growth, right? So if you're not seeing growth in your finances, one of the reasons you may not be seeing that growth in your finances is because of one of this. Not seeing growth in your finances sometimes is number one, is having that circumstantial thinking, right? She discussed that about having that circumstantial thinking, right? So what does that mean? Write that down. Circumstantial thinking. What is circumstantial thinking? Circumstantial thinking is thinking based on where you currently are in your life, right? As you come in, I see the love coming in. As you come in, tell us who you are, tell us what you do, right? And grab your diva notebook and your diamond pen. So we're going to jump us in here. So number one, 8 subconscious money blocks that keep us from getting our first 2K or more is circumstantial thinking. Now, what do I mean by that? That means that you're making decisions based on your current circumstances and not based on the desire that you have for your life. Let me say it again one more time. So you're making decisions based on your current circumstances. So if you're in business, if anyone you know, CEO of Gucci or any of those high-end businesses, or if you own a corporate world, your decisions that you make are always going to be based on things that's going to go on in the future. But we have a tendency to make decisions based on our circumstances. And that is an operation of lack. We're in a lack mindset, a lack mentality. So we're making decisions and thinking this is how our situation will always be. And that is not the case. So when we're trying to stop that money block, is every decision we make in our business has to come from a form of being able to make that decision, not from a circumstantial thinking, but from a desired outcome that we want in the future. So I was responding to someone inside our Faith, Favors, and Finance group, and she was saying, I took one faith of hiring a VA to help me. So the purpose of her hiring that VA to help her is because she looking at making revenue or freeing up her time. So that was a faith walk in her, but she's want to free up her time so she can have more time but also not drop the ball on her business at the same time. So if we're going to move forward, we have to really drop that thinking of making decisions based on our current circumstances, because our current circumstances, whether good or bad, is not the end all of who we truly are, because we're always desiring more. We're always desiring bigger. If you're always desiring more, and if you're always desiring bigger, go ahead and give me a 3 in the chat. Give me a 3 in the chat and saying, I am confirming that I'm always desiring more, and I'm always desiring bigger. So therefore, I will not make decisions based on my current circumstances. I will make decisions based on what my desire is for my life. So that's number one. We're talking about 8 subconscious money blocks that keep us from making the money that we desire. So when we're talking about that, we're also want to talk about, and I wrote all these down inside of my notes. And when we're also talking about that, we're talking about the second one, which Felicia talked about in her book. She talked about strategic focus. Strategic focus. I had this conversation with my agency a few hours ago, earlier this morning. It's like, hey, how focused are you? How focused are you in getting that desire, right? What is the desire that you have for yourself? What is that thing that you love to do? I just came back from vacation with my family, and everything was top notch. We were going there, okay, we're going to get this hotel, we're going to get this suite, we're going to stay at the Hiltons, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So I did a whole top notch for my family, right? And we're going to do this, we're going to fly first class, we're going to do this. So because that's the desire of my heart. So when I am sitting here saying, I want to be able to generate revenue, I want to be able to walk in my purpose, it's because so I can have the desire of my heart. That's my end goal. So I can have certain things that I want in my life. So that's why I work so hard. So when I don't feel like getting up, or when I don't feel like making that phone call, when I don't feel like marketing my business, I remember my why, I remember my desire, remember the feeling of what it feels like to be able to have the opportunity to offer that. So how do I get that? That helped me to stay focused, not just focused, but strategically focus on the desire of what I want for my family. So what does strategic focus mean? That means saying no to other things that is dressed up as opportunity. Listen, saying no to other things. In the Bible, it says about being faithful to few. And I want to read that to you. I don't want this to make a biblical thing, but the Bible teaches us to be faithful over a few things so we might be a ruler over much more. Be faithful over a few things. And what I see sometimes is every time we turn around, you see somebody, they're starting a new business in something. And you're so confused because one minute they were doing this and the next minute they were doing that. And it's only 24 hours in a day. So how can we strategically take you serious if every time we turn around, you're in a different type of business? So that strategic focus is so important. Now, we're not talking about pivoting. We're talking about focusing on one thing, where your purpose, where your passion, where you love to get up and do what you do. So having a strategic focus is so important in breaking those money blocks of your goal, that you can have the desire of your heart. That means saying no to things that doesn't line up with you. That means saying no to even some things that come along. There's a lot of opportunities that came along a few months now, and I had to say no to them because it did not line up with where I am currently trying to go. Again, we talk about circumstantial thinking. It's not lining up with where I'm trying to go. Another thing that I want to also point out in number 3 is having expectancy versus walking in expectance, right? Having expectancy versus walking in expectance. So again, if you're just joining, we're talking about 8 subconscious money blocks that keep you from getting your first 2K or more consistently, right? So now we're number 3, which is having expectancy versus walking in expectance. So having expectancy, I have been the victim of that a lot. Like I will plan a project and I expect the project going to go as I planned. And that's premature of me to think that way. And the project don't go as I expected, right? Now, does the outcome of what I desire change? No, but the way of getting to that outcome is me walking in expectancy. So we have to make sure at all times we catch ourselves, we become aware of, hey, listen, am I walking in my expectancy or am I having expectations? And having expectation is like having expectation to say, when you get married or you have a husband or you have someone, a partner, you're going to say, we're going to be the best partner ever. He's going to be the best husband ever. And then marriage doesn't turn out the way you planned, right? And because you have this unexpected, unrealistic expectations, and now you're disappointed. But if you shift the mindset and says, I'm not going to have an expectancy, because at the end of the day, it's not how I get there, is if I get there, right? So it's not having expectancy, but I'm going to walk in my expectations. Big difference. So walk in your expectations saying, I am not tied to how I get there. I am not, and shout out to Patrice Washington. She's really big on saying that the desire of how I get there is up to God. My goal is if I get there. And here's what I mean by that. You're trying to buy a car, right? You have this car. You're saving up every single day to get that car. You have your dream car. You're saving up every day to get that dream car. However, as you save up, it just seems like you're not having enough money no matter how much you try to save up. There's someone come along and bless you with some funds or gift you the car. Or gift you the car. Are you going to say, no, I don't want the car because you gifted to me? Are you going to be like, thank you, Jesus, blessing, favors on my life, right? So no, because you're walking in expectancy, saying at any given time, God may send an angel to bless me, right? But having expectation to say, by my strength, I'm going to save up and get the car. That is ridiculous. So we got to always be checking ourselves to see, how are we thinking? Are we thinking in having expectations of how things are going to turn out for us, or how we're going to get to the mountaintop, how we're going to get there? Are we walking in expectancy? And when you're walking expectations, it's better because you're saying at any given time, someone can bless you. At any given time, favors is on your life to get that thing that you desire. Y'all, if this is good, give me a high five in the chat. If this is good, give me a high five in the chat. So number one, we talk about circumstantial thinking and thinking with circumstances. Number two, we talk about strategic focus. And number three, we talk about having expectation versus walking in those expectations. That's where your faith come in. That's when your faith muscles to say, we're going to walk in these expectations and we're going to walk it out. So regardless of how I get to the outcome, I'm going to get to it. I'm not tied that the outcome has to be a certain way. When you're saying when you want a degree, or when you want to go further in your life, or you want a career, and your boss comes to you and said, hey, I'm giving you a raise. That's why they said favor is not fear, which we know everyone have favors, because you could be thinking it's your strength that's going to get you that career or that raise, but it could be God's blessing where you're like, wow, I didn't have to work for this, right? That's why we said favor sometimes is not fear, because we're thinking favor is supposed to be I work hard, I put in the work, but favors has nothing to do with you work hard, put in the work. Favors has something to do with your faith. Favors have something to do with walking in expectations that I'm walking. So when you are doing the work, God knows what it is, what you want based on the work that you're doing. So we want to make sure that we are walking in expectation versus thinking we have an expectation of how things are going to be. Because if we do, we're going to always be disappointed. All right. So number four, we're going to talk about having that faith muscles that regardless of what we see, it's not thinking that we're not confident. Regardless of what we see, there's an outcome that is going to be in our favor. Faith muscles, regardless of what we see, the outcome still will be in our favor. That's why when we worried about everyone know that I love me some Plies, and Plies said, what God has for you is for you, and no one can take that away. No one, not even COVID, can take that away. So one analogy he used was, if you're driving on I-75 and it's closed down and it's shut down, are you going to turn around and go home 9 hours, go home? Or are you going to find a different route to get to your destination? I was on I-75 going to Siesta Beach in Sarasota, Florida, which I highly recommend. And on my way there, if there's a closure, I'm not going to drive all the way back home. I'm going to figure out and navigate a route, because my goal is to get to the beach. So no matter what it is, no matter what comes in my way, my desire is get to the beach. So I'm not going to make the fact that a temporary stop me from my end goal. And let me tell you why I love temporary stops. I love temporary stops. Let me tell you why I love that, because it separates the man or the woman from the lady, or the man for the boys. It separates that, because let's put it like this. There's sometimes people are right now, there's EIDL, there's PPP, there's CARE Act, there's so much grants given away. But in getting those grants, there's some work that you have to do, right? And there are times when people are like, I'm not doing all that work, child. I'm not doing the work. And I love that, because the less people do the work, the more money for you to get, right? So you have to be, there's the real people who desire it will do the work. Will do the work. So temporary stops, it will tell you who's serious about getting the thing that's on the other side, or who's just want to play around, right? So there are times when you may say, hey, I want to get coaching, or I want to do something better in my life. And what happened is there's some work or some things that your coach may say you need to do. And then instead of doing exactly what you're told, you're trying to change it and trying to navigate around it instead of just doing exactly what was told. And the ones who do exactly are reaping the benefit, because temporary stop, all it do is for you to activate your faith muscles. Activate your faith muscles so you can have those favors in your life. That's why my group is called Faith, Favors, and Finance, right? So if you're just joining me, guys, I'm glad that you're here. We're talking about 8 subconscious money blocks that keep you from getting your first 2K or more consistently. And we're talking about circumstantial thinking. We're talking about exercising your faith. We're talking about walking in expectations versus having expectations. All these things that we're talking about right now have been lack of belief system that has stopped us from getting what we desire, but not anymore, because we ain't gonna have that. We're talking about having strategic focus on where we're going to go, right? I have a friend, and every day she will call me about a new opportunity. And my answer is always no. I'm focusing on this. I'm mastering my strategic focus. When you're in your lane and mastering your strategic focus, there's a lot of people that pivoted when it came to COVID, right? And pivot doesn't mean that the outcome changed. It just means the way, the location of how you're getting to the outcome may be pivoted, but the destination never changed, right? So you have to make sure that you get in the habit of reminding yourself, where's the destination? What is my destination? Where am I trying to go? Why am I waking up 4 a.m. in the morning? Why am I staying up late at night? Make sure you put those destination on places that are visible where you can see it, whether it's your vision board, whether it's on your phone. So when you get these temporary stops in your way, when you get these challenges or obstacles in your way, you remember the destination of what you're trying to get to in the first place. That is so, so, so important. And that's where you build your faith muscles. That's where your faith muscles come into play, your faith muscles. Okay. So another thing that I really want to touch on, and I wrote this down, so I want to make sure that we have, there's a part in your life where you get to the point where the growth, you have came to as far as you can go by yourself. Felicia Kelly really talks about this, coming to a place in your life where you can only go so far by yourself. Right? I used to tell my clients that if you're asking a question and you're answering your own question, you came too far by yourself, because how can you say that you want to have a life of freedom if you never know what that looks like, right? The biggest thing is we have to define what success is, because success for Lisa and success for me may be two different types of success. Everybody's success is different. Success for me is having all my bills paid and my ability to still control my freedom lifestyle. That's success for me. Having all my bills paid with a surplus, and I can still have my freedom lifestyle. So everybody's success is different. So for me to want to get to that and maintain that, I have to seek out evidence of people who have already attained that and learn how they do it. So there are a lot of times that we're in a situation where we're trying to get ahead and we're using our own strength and we're just spinning our wheels because we have not identified how to get to that goal, because we're not seeking help from people who have already done it, who's already there. So we're just spinning our wheels and doing the hope dance, right? Or doing the hope deck. Or we're not doing the faith dance, because faith without works is dead, right? So we're doing a hope dance and hoping we're going to get there. So understanding that the next step will require for us to seek evidence or seek out opportunities from other people who have already done it, right? It's important to analyze how far you can come and how far you can go, right? Another thing I wanted to jump in there when we're talking about reaching a destination where you're saying, I can't do it by myself. I need to find somebody that can. Another thing I want to point out in our 8 subconscious money block is understand to celebrate your wins, right? Every coaching program that I start, every conversation was always, okay, ladies, tell me your wins. Celebrate your wins. And your wins doesn't always have to be money. Your wins could be you're able to take steps that you've never been able to take before. So your wins may be something where you may be an introvert and you never will go live, but now you're going live, right? So it's important to you celebrate your wins. I love to celebrate those wins that have challenges. When you get over that challenge, or when you're able to, on your way to that beach that I talk about, and I-75 is closed down and you're able to navigate and go around it because your destination was a beach, you celebrate the fact that you're able to figure out a way. When I reach back on track again after navigating to the road, I'm like, thank you, God. I'm on track again. Let's do this. That's a celebration, right? Sometimes people are waiting for their bank account to be fat before they celebrate or see a number in their account. No, not me, honey. I celebrate every single thing that I have ever overcome. I celebrate every single thing that was meant to take me out and I'm still here. Learn how to celebrate yourself on the journey, even if it's not money, because a small celebration is what leads to huge celebration. When someone asks me about how did you get here? How did you get to the level where you are? It was never one thing. It was several wins that led to another thing that led to another thing. So we got to learn how to celebrate our wins on our journey. Felicia pointed out also in her book, and I think it's so phenomenal that we have a tendency to want to wait to celebrate. No, don't wait to celebrate. If you woke up this morning, celebrate. If you found $10 that you didn't know was in your back pocket when you washed your jeans, celebrate. If you got a call that you've been waiting on forever, celebrate. If you're featured in a magazine that you didn't know, celebrate. These are all things. Don't wait for somebody to celebrate for you. You got to celebrate for yourself, because celebration disrupts the atmosphere. Y'all. Come on, y'all better tag somebody inside of here. Celebration disrupt the atmosphere. What it does, it's just like you have a child and your child is doing something good and you say, I'm so proud of you, and you're speaking positive to that child. What happened? That child will want to continue to do that act. So when you're celebrating, listen, I have a tendency, even in my challenges, to celebrate. I look for something good in the challenges that happen to celebrate, because it disrupts the devil. It confuses him. And it also, what it does is a celebration also tell the universe that, yes, we're on a right track. Let's keep going. So celebration, we need to learn to celebrate. We have a tendency to only want to celebrate when things are going bad. And that is not the case. We have a certain amount of money that we're expecting in our bank account. And when we don't get that money, we don't think we need to wait to celebrate. No. Every time when I was doing my life insurance test, every time I finished a chapter, I would celebrate. So what happened? You keep the devil on his toes, like, oh my God, why is she going through all this, right? And she's still celebrating. Every time y'all know my story. Every time I was behind on my car payment, and I paid one car up front, and I paid to get a little bit closer to the destination to pay off what I had owed, I would celebrate. Now I wasn't in the clear, but I would celebrate, because that feeling, let me tell y'all something. The feeling is what give you the magnet vibration to get to the thing that you want. That celebrated feeling. Everything that you do is a vibration, is an energy. So when you're celebrating your wins, be it big or small, doesn't matter. What you're doing is saying you want more of that, if that's what you're attracting. But if you're always sad and you're always down, that what you're also telling the universe is you want more of that. So anything you spend time and energy on, you're telling the universe. And when I say universe, let's be very clear. You're telling God, who is the creator of the universe, that you want more of that. That's why we got to be careful what we're trying to speak about or what gets our energy, because a celebration, if you're celebrating a milestone, if you're celebrating a raise, if you're celebrating waking up in the morning, if you're celebrating that there was things I asked God for that I thank him that he didn't give to me. That I thank him that he didn't give to me. And that's a celebration in itself. Lisa said, I do that celebration to motivate myself all the time. Exactly. And you know what I even do, even when I don't have the answer to the next situation, to the next move, to the next money move, or to the next impact, or how I'm going to impact somebody's life. Even when I don't have the answer to that next thing, I still celebrate that the answer is going to come. So I am celebrating ahead of time because I know it's going to come. And when you celebrate ahead of time, you know it's going to come. You're doing the work and you're celebrating before you get here. When you get here, sometimes you get here, I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize it came already, right? Because you're already walking into the desire of that thing. So we got to important to learn how to celebrate our journey. You may not be where you want to be today, but Lord God, you're not where you used to be. And that alone is enough to celebrate. So in the process of breaking those belief systems in our finances and doing the 8 subconscious money blocks that keep us from getting to our next money, is understanding, celebrating the process. Celebrate that you're not where you used to be. Celebrate that you're not making the decisions that you used to make. That is so important, right? Celebrate that you're not in that relationship that you were in before. Celebrate that you're further ahead and you're making wiser decisions. There are so much things that you can celebrate if you just take a second to be aware of where you are. There's so much things that you can be grateful for. But if we get caught up in all the things that are wrong, or if we get caught up in we are not where we're supposed to be, that is the energy that we're always going to get. So I challenge you today to start celebrating your small wins, because what you think is small is a domino effect of even bigger wins. Y'all, if this is good, go ahead and give me a 5 in the chat. 5 in the chat if you're hearing all of this. I do celebrate, Lisa said, and it motivates myself all the time. That is so, so important. Your celebration is so, so important. Okay, so we talk about celebration, we talk about strategic focus, we talk about our critical thinking, we talk about our faith muscles, we talk about celebrating our wins. I love that celebration when we're celebrating our wins. But here's the other thing that we want to do. We also want to celebrate other people's wins. We also want to celebrate other people's wins, right? Whenever my girlfriends or whenever someone I don't even know have something great, even on Facebook, I am so always congratulating them as well, because it's one thing to have great win, but when other people have a win as well, let me tell you something. If you can be happy for somebody else wins, whether it's monetary or whether it's tangible, whatever it may be, that is what you're also telling the universe, that that's what you want. You're telling them, you're really setting up your mindset to say, oh, I want this person to be happy. You're grateful for this person's happiness. So we got to learn how not just celebrating our wins, but being able to be comfortable with celebrating somebody else's wins. We got to be able to be very, very comfortable. Another part of celebrating your win and celebrating somebody's win is also being able to be comfortable speaking the desired amount of what we want, financial amount, what we want. There are so many people that are afraid to speak of the money that they desire. They are afraid of speaking that money language, that word. They are truly afraid of saying it. They're afraid that if they say that it makes them feel a certain way. So let me tell you something about the energy of money. If you're afraid of money, money's going to be afraid of you. Period. If you're scared to have money in your hands, money's going to be scared to have it in your hands too. So you have to check yourself and ask yourself, why? Why am I afraid? Why am I afraid to be successful? Why am I afraid to not have money wins? Why am I afraid of that? Why am I afraid of not having money in my life? I'm worthy. I have a client that I'm going to really. So I would just, one of my clients, she was like, We can talk all about somebody else's wins, but if we talk about her wins, she gets shy. She don't want to talk about her wins. She could have get $10,000 and she would not say anything in our paid group. She would not, because she just feel like she don't want to brag about herself. But let it be a problem. It's easy for us to brag about our problems, but when we get blessing and abundance, we don't brag about it. We're so opposite, right? We're so, and how can we get more of what we desire if we are not able to celebrate what God has said to us? Lisa said, my pastor said when someone is in our neighborhood is blessed, be happy for them because it makes your blessing in your neighborhood too. I truly believe that. I remember when Miss Jamaica won Miss Universe, and there was another lady that was there, and she was celebrating harder than Miss Jamaica. She was so happy for her winning. And I'm like, that's me all day. That is me and my girlfriend Jackie all day. Baby girl, yeah! That is me all day. I am just happy. I'm just excited for that person who win. And because that's how you know how much your conscience is clear. Your conscience is clear, right? And if you get uncomfortable asking God for what you want, which you just said that he gives you everything, he gives you the desire of your heart. So if you're uncomfortable, that means you're not really wanting that desire, right? And if he do it for one person, he's God's respect for a person, he'll do it for you. So I just wanted to start breaking down those subconscious money blocks that has been hindering us and keeping us from receiving what thus said the Lord. That has been keeping us from being faithful. See, the Bible said we only have to be faithful with a few things. What are you faithful with today? What are some things that somebody can be faithful with you? Trustworthy? Are you that friend that somebody can depend on? All those things are requirement. How do you impact somebody's life? When someone is with you or in front of you or speaking to you, whether it's virtually on the phone, how do they feel when they get off the phone with you? Do they feel like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm with you? Or do they feel like, oh my God, I'm so tired of being on the phone with this person? So anyone you get in contact with, you left energy with that person, whether good or bad, right? And whatever that energy is, it wants to follow you for the rest of your life. So you create what energy you want to see. You create based on what you listen to, based on where you hang out, based on where you spend your time with. So that is so important, and that is so valuable. Most important. That's why you got to master your strategic focus. What gets your focus is only 24 hours in a day. So what is going to get your focus? What is going to get that thing that you say, okay, this is what I'm going to be focused on? There are many things that we know how to do, and there are things that we don't know how to do. But the things that we don't know how to do, we got to have faith that the things we know how to do will provide for the things we don't. That means outsourcing. That means finding somebody else is doing. That means getting a coach. That means all these other things so you can move to the next step. If I want to go from A to B and I've never been to B, I need somebody that's already at B to be able to teach me that. And I must be able to trust the process along the way that I can, not by somebody else's strength. I will get the information that I need to get to this next level. Y'all, so I really hope that you take these things into consideration, these 8 subconscious things that we talk about, because I really want you to be able to bless your soul. So when things like this come up, where we got to be strategically focused, when circumstantial thinking, right? You're thinking about, I don't have enough money for this. I can't afford this. I can't lose this weight, right? All these things that you say that you can't, because you're looking at your circumstances now and making decisions from your circumstances now. We don't do that. We make decisions based on where we see yourself in the future. We make decisions based on every move or step that I make in my business is always based on where I see myself in a few months, in a few years, in what I need. And in that time, and I keep 3 little things. I keep 3 things that I'm focused on, whether it's focused on my son or focused on my personal life or focused on my business, whatever it may be. I have goals for those 3 things. And if everything that I say yes to have to line up with those future plans for myself. And when those things come to manifest, then I have another plan. And so it's always a journey, not a destination. Always a journey. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop there, but I truly, truly, truly want you to take this. If you're catching a replay, make sure you hit #replay. I am so excited to have our Faith Favor, and Finance Group. Every Tuesday, I bring you these proven strategies to help you break your belief system when it comes to your finances so you can build your financial confidence. It's your girl, Sherri Somers, your Revenue Master Life Coach. Have an amazing day. Talk to y'all later.